What's going on, everyone? This is Jag Central and I hope you're all doing well. The Jacksonville Jaguars lose another close game this season. This is the 7th time this season that the Jags have lost a close game. A close game is essentially a one possession game, and this is the 7th time the Jags have done this. And before the game against the Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars still had a chance at making the playoffs mathematically, but now at 2-10, they're mathematically out. And this is I don't even know, in the last 10, 15 years, how many double-digit losing seasons have the Jaguars have had? I've lost count. There's just been so many, but this is another one on the resume for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Going into the game, or going into the main talking point of the game, which wasn't the win for the Texans, which was the late hit by Azeez Al-Shaair on Trevor Lawrence. What are your thoughts on this? My thoughts is that it was a late hit and it was basically avoidable from the defender to not hit Trevor Lawrence that hard and that late. There's been a lot of talk about QBs taking advantage of the slide, faking a slide and whatnot. But the distance between Azeez Al-Shaair and Trevor Lawrence was a big enough difference. Trevor Lawrence was giving himself up, and I felt like Azeez Al-Shaair could have and should have not went in that hard with the tackling. I know maybe you just want to make sure that the QB's down, or it's definitely going down, but the way and the force that he came in through was just not on. I felt like I haven't seen a late hit on a QB or just a late hit on any player in the NFL like that in ages. People were talking about the Joe Flacco one. I felt like there was one much more recent than that. I think it was a Teddy Bridgewater one. That one, yeah. That was a late hit as well. There's been so many of these over the past few years, or not over the past few years, but over the years. But it's just been getting less and less and less, where the offensive players are being defended by the league with these 15-yard penalties, these ejections and whatnot. But that from Azeez Al-Shaair was just not on. As of today, he's been banned for 3 games. So he was ejected for the Jaguars game and he's been banned for 3 games. So that's his punishment as it is. I thought maybe it would have been a longer one just to basically set an example. But 3 games is the ban that he's getting. The one thing I kind of wanted to talk about as well which was kind of disappointing as well to see from Jaguars fans, but just not Jaguars fans, but it was mainly Jaguars fans that I was seeing it from. But the hate comments towards Azeez Al-Shaair, the Islamophobic comments towards him, that is just not on. I feel like 2 wrongs don't make a right. I know what Azeez Al-Shaair had done was incorrect, or was just, there was no reason for it and it was uncalled for. But the way also the Jaguar fans and fans in general had reacted towards Azeez Al-Shaair was also not on. And I hadn't even known that Azeez Al-Shaair was a Muslim until after the event, and he was getting called all these names under the sun after the game. And that's how I found out. And yeah, it's just something that isn't really on. And I feel like as fans, we maybe take the fanatic, or the term fan, which is fanatic, too literally, and we just cross the lines which shouldn't be crossed. I feel like there's a lot of times where us fans do cross a lot of lines in terms of whether we get personal with players or what we say. And I know a lot of times we say things where we know we're not saying it in front of the players or people, but I feel like that was not called for. And for me, to be honest, I was about to say if it was only one person who had said it, or 2 people, maybe it would have been all right. I won't say it's maybe all right, but I'll say it's less surprising maybe if there's one bad apple. But it seemed like there was a lot of bad apples from the Jaguar fan base that were basically being very Islamophobic, and I felt like that was incorrect. But yeah, let's just move on. To be honest, the game was a very poor game to start the game. It was a very quiet game. There wasn't much going on until basically that late hit on Trevor Lawrence, and then from then on the Texans just took the lead, and then it just seemed like, all right, cool, the Texans are going to run away with this and the game's over. Mac Jones has to come in for Trevor Lawrence, and then at the end Mac Jones was able to put a few drives together, get a few touchdowns, and then before we know it was 23-20 game, and the Jags had a chance of winning the game, but it wasn't meant to be. I don't know where a lot of Jags fans are, but I felt like a lot of Jags fans were happy for us to lose the game because of our draft position and basically the season's being over. I'm more of the optimistic side, or not optimistic because we're not going to make the playoffs, but I'm more of like, I just want to see my team win and whatnot. But right now we're in the position where we're holding the number 1 pick, and if you're listening to this at this moment, hopefully maybe a day after I post this, I'm going to post a video on what the Jaguars should do with the number 1 pick. So I highly recommend that you check that out. But getting back to the game, or just getting back to like the situation for the Jags at the moment, we're holding the number 1 pick. What do we do? Do we go and lose the rest of the games? I think we've got 5-6 games left. Do we lose those rest of those games and then just hope that we get the number 1 pick, and then we see what we do from there? Do we try to win some games? What do we do? Because if we end up winning out, I think we win out and be 7-10, and then that means we're going to be picking 13th, 14th in the draft. But if we're picking first, that's a really strong position to be in, especially with teams where the Titans, the Giants, what other teams are looking for quarterbacks, the Raiders, maybe the Jets and whatnot. So all of these teams are potentially looking for new QBs. If we're holding the number 1 pick, they want to be that pick to be able to choose which quarterback that they pick, or give them the best chance of picking the best quarterback in the draft class. I'm going to talk about all of this in the video that I've planned, or I've already done essentially. I just need to post it. But yeah. What do I also want to see from like the Jags moving forward? I really want to see more Brian Thomas Jr. I want to see us target him a bit more. I want us to give him more reception, give him more yards, because today he had 4 catches for about 73 yards or so, had a touchdown, but I want us to like feed him a bit more because he's the future. In terms of Parker Washington, I want to see more from him because today he had a really good game. I think that was his first ever 100+ receiving yard game. So I want to see more from him as well. And then just see where we can take this team. But at the same time, we've got the Titans twice, because essentially if we beat the Titans twice, they're essentially going to hold a higher draft position than us. We also face the Raiders. Those are the Jets. Those are teams who are essentially fighting for the number 1 pick, or the top 3 picks for essentially. And then we also got the Colts as well, who are fighting for a playoff spot as well. And I don't know who else we've got. I think I've named all our opponents for the next few weeks. But it is what it is. The Jags lose another one, but lose another close one. I felt like the Jags should have or could have shown more heart in the first half and instead of the second half. But hopefully this is something that we are able to fix in the next in the off-season and then into next season, where we're losing these close games, but we turn these close games into wins. And also with Trevor Lawrence, hopefully he gets better soon. Hopefully everything is all right. I think this is his, second concussion, maybe third concussion. I can't remember. I know he had one last season. And then I'm not sure if he's had one before then as well. But this is the concussions, if they start adding up, it's not a good look for the QB. It's not a good look for his health as well. And then also it's not good for the Jaguars. I think the Jags should just basically shut him down. If his shoulder's still hurting, get the surgery, get that done, get that out of the way. If you've got a concussion, which has already been confirmed, but it could be a serious concussion, just sort yourself out, because Tua was out for about 4 weeks with his concussion. So I'd say just take the next 4 weeks off, and then just basically end the season for Trevor Lawrence, and then we just basically move on and just look into next season. Because at the moment we've got nothing to play for. We're playing for basically the off season, the draft, and into next season. I think all the eyes should be on 2025. But of course, I want to see my team do well, play well. But of course, at the same time, you also want that high draft pick as well, because that sets you up for future success. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video, which is coming out tomorrow. So please keep an eye on that. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.